Good morning, everybody. Hail Mary me. It's MicheleMarieDalene, and it is Friday morning, approximately 9:58 a.m. here in the United States Eastern Time Zone. And wow, I've got a lot to cover, but we got more of just let's get together and talk a little bit. We all know that yesterday a person called into the show saying that Trump supposedly won the 2020 election. Well, the truth is, no, he didn't. However, he is contesting results in the state of Wisconsin and is pushing for two counties recounts in the vote, hoping to set up a case in the Wisconsin Supreme Court for issues of election irregularities. That's what it says. Right? It doesn't say that he won. So let me make sure I understand that. Now, is that surprising? No. I have to work on some housework today. I gotta get my underwears washed, and also I need to figure out about registering a program called Clean My Mac X. That's what it's called, Clean My Mac X. Like so many programs now, it has gone to the subscription model, saying that basically you can register a program and then pay something like $18 a year, or you can buy a one-time license for like the equivalent of about 4 years worth of registration fees. It's not cheap either. When I originally bought Clean My Mac, it was a lifetime subscription, which is good. Even when I went ahead and I looked to see if it made sense to go with a license for it, because I use it to maintain the computer's equivalent of the operating system initialization files. The only thing that I find myself is asking, is it worth paying $84 to register a program or not? I haven't figured that out yet, because it's a lot of money to throw around when I don't have the stimulus check. Because we all know that the Democrats and the Republicans cannot seem to consistently decide between the House and the Senate if there's going to be a stimulus check or how much to spend money on said stimulus check. Yeah. Why can't they make up their damn mind? They almost said they want stimulus check, but they seem like they don't want to negotiate and agree on at least a basic package. How you doing, MJ? So that's just the weirdest thing. Now, one other thing I got to be honest with is I'm a little bit concerned about is Debo Foxley talked about my eating habits for a while. I've talked about my eating habits a little bit. I think it's time we go ahead and get off the damn pizza because I'm not even supposed to eat gluten that much. And when I do, well, let's put it this way. It's concentrated carbohydrates and it tends to make me feel funny and makes me get big and stuff like that. So I got about 4.5 hours sleep. I went to sleep about 3 in the morning or so. Woke up at 9 and 8:30. Went back to sleep for a little more to about 9:05. Then I woke up again, got dressed for the show, had breakfast, and here I am. So I guess that's good enough sleep for me for now. Not really sure what else to do right now. So last night we had a lot of people on the chat. I'll be honest, the signal to noise ratio last night was off the charts. I'm not sure I was getting in the mood and things are getting hyper and exciting, but the sad truth is I think the majority of the audience probably didn't really feel that there was an incoherency in last night's show because of the hyperness. And I have to agree with you if you feel that way. I was trying to do my own thing. People were talking about other things at the same time. And I don't even know how the closed caption decoder is going to read that show and try to make any heads or tails out of it. Google closed captions are pretty good, but you start having all those people talking at the same time. It's kind of crazy to see how it would actually decode all that. But yeah, not a really greatest arrangement at all. So the truth of the matter is, I'm not really sure if anybody wants to know about a stimulus check. Let me tell you right now, I do not know what's going to happen. Everybody in Congress, the Senate, I believe, has gone home for Thanksgiving holiday and will probably be back probably right around Christmas. I don't think you're going to see a stimulus check unless Donald Trump decides to take a shot in the dark and do the executive order before January. So, which kind of sucks because so many people really were looking for Christmas money to buy Christmas presents. Sorry, guys. Santa Claus isn't coming this year, I don't think. Because this 401k can't afford to give you Christmas presents. I hate to disappoint all the youngsters out there, but I don't think Santa could do it. I don't think I could do it. So I try to understand the logic of why both sides say they want stimulus, but they just can't work out the details of how they're going to get the stimulus checks out. Nancy Pelosi said that she did not want to originally send out stimulus check with Donald Trump's name on it. That is why she didn't pass it in July, August. And also, Mr. McConnell thinks that she was spending too much damn money on programs that had nothing to do with COVID-19 relief in the original HEROES Act. Why don't you just basically just take, I mean, I know they tried to a point, but the point was it was a circus. It didn't help people at all. And actually, if I was the one, I would have taken the Problem Solvers Caucus bill, brought it to the floor and say, hey, use this. It's one everybody seems to like, and it satisfies the needs of both parties because it was a bipartisan bill. But Nancy Pelosi, again, refused to bring the Problem Solvers Caucus bill to the floor in the House. And she has been reelected as Speaker of the House again for 2 more years. Go figure that one out. Yeah, I know most of my viewers are gonna come in later with morning. But MJ, let me ask you a question. Where you are. And I'm not sure exactly where you are. I think you're the one. You're not. I mean, I know just Miss Jimmy's in Indiana. I don't know where you're from. What's your view on the situation? What's going on in your area about the stimulus, COVID-19, and generally anything? How is your area doing? So, anyone can answer that question. How is your area doing with the COVID-19 stimulus, the economy, and anything else? Jasmine Star says, good morning, how you doing? Yeah, MJ's there. I'm talking much right now. How you doing, Neon Goblin? So anyway, like I said last night, we had a pretty good show. Unfortunately, like I said, it's kind of noisy, kind of wild, and doesn't really make a lot of sense. So don't forget to put like in the like jar. These morning shows, I think, do better than the night shows for a lot of people. I think they're a little more coherent, if that makes any sense. I'm just chilling, waiting to die. Please clarify. I got one question I'm trying to figure out Google. Whatever happened to the Google, the word Google that used to be on the Google page? The word Google's gone. The search spot is gone. Well, I don't know why with the search spot it makes sense because in Chrome, you type it in a different place. You type it in the search option is actually in the URL bar, but why would they get rid of the letters Google? I don't understand. Did you ever notice that? What's the story with that? You used to have the word Google when you go to www.google.com, and now it doesn't even show you the word Google. Never figure that out. Does the Firefox show the Google option? I don't know. Let's look in Firefox real quick and see what it shows. Alright, a new Firefox is update. So update to Firefox. Okay, so I'm just downloading the update. So like I said at the beginning of the show, I don't know if we're going to have a stimulus check before Christmas. Some of those of you who are hoping to get a stimulus check so you can go ahead and use it to pay for your Christmas costs, Christmas presents. I can't tell you when it's going to be out there. Kind of frustrating, actually. Hit restart to continue. How do you restart the update? Whatever operating system we got is better than ever. Non-profit back mobile browser. I'm not sure exactly how you restart Firefox. I mean, I know how to restart it in a sense. Quit the program and then reload it up again. But yeah, I'm just curious. Does Google Drive still do that? Oh my God, they've gotten crazy with plugging that's www.google.com. Yeah, Firefox still has it. Let me just log in here. All right. It is All right, let me just update the settings. Preferences. Browsers. No, I don't want to make it my default browser. I just want to. Fonts, colors, zooms. What the hell? Oh. Homepage. Custom URLs. https://www.google.com. Okay, let's just do it. Firefox, you're starting to get on my nerves. But it does seem to work better than Google. All right, but right now I'm using the program. So doesn't matter. How you doing, Michelle? I'll give you a call around. You said originally last night between 11 and 12. I'll try to call you right after the show. And let's see. Just said, like I said at the beginning of the show, I don't think you're going to see a very exciting Christmas for a majority of Americans this year. You listen to some of these Democratic rulers, and you're seeing them say things like, we're not going to even let you have Thanksgiving in your own home, or we're going to make sure that everybody has to wear a mask in your home, or you can only have a certain number of participants in your home. I'm like, what that? What are you going to do? Send a fire marshal to every home on Thanksgiving, Christmas Day to make sure that there's only 5-10 people in their home? I can't understand the logic behind some of these Democratic rules. First of all, let me just start by saying this. There's a lot of people are going to be alone for holidays, for reasons that are very clear. One, even if you want to go see your relatives, if you are out of a job, you can't afford to pay for an airplane ticket if you have to fly. Okay? And if you have to drive a great distance, you're not going to have the money to buy gas and travel across country. So, as you might rightfully guess, if there's a Thanksgiving dinner, it's going to be more like a tele dinner. Okay, in other words, just like you have telecommute for working from home, you're going to be telecommuting to grandma's house for Thanksgiving. And of course, the Chinese don't concern about that. They don't have Thanksgiving in China. So, I don't even know how some people, especially the shut-ins, are going to be able to handle that. Go figure that one out. I do worry about those people who are normally extroverted and are used to going out and being part of a society event and can't be part of the society event because of the fears that our so-called democratically appointed rulers have decided, or the necessary requirements, stringency to keep America and the world safe from something that is clearly was let loose by a couple of scientists in a Wuhan laboratory that couldn't seem to figure out how to properly maintain safety protocol. So people are going to be stuck pretty much suffering because of that reason, which I think stinks. Okay. Usually every year Soup Kitchen has Thanksgiving and Christmas. Thanksgiving dinner and a Christmas dinner. Not this year. Usually, every day, I would go to the Soup Kitchen Monday through Friday, have coffee, talk to a few people in the morning, and then I would come home by 12 and then call Rachel on the phone, for example, and we would talk about everyday things. Well, Soup Kitchen's not open until 2023. It's kind of weird when you think about it. Why won't you be open until 2023? Because I'm not sure exactly the real reason why they could set the date out so far, but one rumor is I found out that the lease will expire in 2022 for the location that they're in, which is run by St. James Episcopal Church. And maybe they're figuring that it's going to take time for them to relocate to a new location to continue services for the community. But does it really take a whole year to move a Soup Kitchen? I don't know. It's just kind of weird, though. So, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? What gives? I see, looking at the Hangouts screen, there's an edit button. Wonder what this does. I think it just pops up a screen that lets you edit the titles and the chat information and things. Don't mess with it. So, what are you guys doing for the holidays this year? It's funny because in February I will be 53 years old. 53. This is the longest I've ever lived on this earth. You have to be honest with you on that. Usually I'm dead by 32. Well, so I live 20 years longer than I normally do. And I see you guys are just as bored as me. Don't feel bad. So it's gonna be warmer today. I'm gonna be doing some laundry in a little bit, and gonna wash my underwear today because, well, I don't have a lot of underwears. A lot of them, were old, and I need to get a couple more packs of underwears. And I was gonna get those when I got the stimulus check. Okay. But the thing that's kind of funny is because of the stimulus or lack of stimulus, I can't really do anything excessive until we get a stimulus check. Or maybe when the COLA comes in, which for me is going to be a 1.3% officially. Now, Senator Wyden wanted to originally give people on Social Security disability a $200 bonus, which sounds good. Again, his legislation has not yet passed either. So, at this point, there is no $200 stimulus boost for people on disability. So, we're just going to have to just wait on that, because a $200 boost, if it becomes a regular, it doesn't, not just for a year special effect, but a regular, measure to kind of finally bring Social Security disability up to a more reasonable rate. That's going to mean, well, let's put it this way, $2,400 a year. That puts me in about $17,000 a year income, approximately. Okay, $17,000 a year is not a lot of money, but it's better than $15,000, which is what I get now. So, I've heard that Mitch McConnell already sent everybody home for the holidays. So, again, just like with New Year's, July 4th, it's going to be like no negotiations until everybody goes back. But when did it come back? I have no idea. But a $200 a month increase in Social Security disability benefits certainly would help. Because my rent went up $100. And so if a $200 boost would mean that I can still get my hair redone, assuming the salon is still in business. I don't even know if the salon is even still in business. I have no idea. How you doing, Becca? Long time no see. So, I definitely miss being a blonde, but I obviously, at the time of COVID-19, was at its worst during the initial shutdown. There was no easy way to get to the salon, and they were totally closed at the time. But my salon was already telling me at that time that they were before, in December, that they're trying to lower operating costs. That's December now. This is actually November last year. Wow. So there was definitely an issue of getting, things done. Oh yes, by the way, don't forget to put a like in the like jar. It would be much appreciated. Right now the like counter is at 0. I know we're all waking up, right? Right, Rusty? Yeah. I'm holding on. I'm still here. I'm still alive. I'm still breathing. I'm walking better now. Pretty much back to my old feisty self. No surgery on my knee or nothing. Just basically just a lot of recovery time and getting myself back into physical condition to walk. But unfortunately, I put on a few pounds, and it's pretty obvious. And one of the reasons is I used to walk to the soup kitchen. That there is no soup kitchen, so there hasn't been no soup kitchen to walk to. Oh, come on, get over there. All right, Risty, come on. Big cat. Owls are great. No, I never had an owl. I got a cat. The Beast. Big ginger cat. Yeah. That's the guy that basically takes things hair. That's me. All right. So, read the comments up there. Which ones? Oh, my little one is in science class, and yesterday I had to go to the school to pick up a packet. They're learning about owls. Oh, okay. I see. There isn't one because the stupid Congress can't even seem to make up their mind what they really want. There is no stimulus yet because also the Republicans have went home, I heard, for Thanksgiving holiday. Those goddamn lawyers spend more money and more time spending time with holidays than they do working. So there is no stimulus check. Now, one question I have, Rachel, for you is, despite the fact we live in an era of modern email and most people have a printer, I'm surprised they didn't simply just either email the documents to you to give your daughter, or they could have what's going to happen? What's going to happen for those parents that have no access to transportation? How would they have gotten the documents out? Carrie looked into it. It turns out that the Internal Revenue Service made a mistake, as it appears, and sent her 2 stimulus checks for her dependents, her 3 children. She's contacted the Internal Revenue Service to figure out what to do with the second check. And she agreed with me that she might actually consider mailing it back to the Internal Revenue Service as an error, because she got the first $1,500 for her 3 children and the $1,200 for herself in April. So that's what you need to worry about, is that the Internal Revenue Service again sent her a double check. She doesn't have 6 kids. She only has 3. Don't worry about Nightbot spotting the chat. There's a reason why Nightbot spans the chat, Michelle. If he didn't do it, I would have to manually do it. And that would be even way more annoying if I had to sit there and keep plugging services one after the other every friggin' stream. If I set the Nightbot streams notifications to too far apart, then streams that are really, really busy, nobody would see them, because Nightbot would be basically would never come up. Nightbot requires at least 2 lines of activity before it even shows up as anybody's Nightbot. I've actually set the time. Okay, for those of you who don't know how this works, Nightbot, you can change the delays. Let's go back. Actually, I should check it out. My WW Night TV. Log in. Connecting this YouTube. There we go. So each thing in the timers, you can set things like, for example, while gaming, interval every 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 10 minutes. Okay, the Discord one I can change a little because that's kind of short. I'm going to give this a time of every 20 minutes. Okay? I don't know if it's going to change it today, right now, or if it's going to change it like next show. Okay, we'll see what's every 20 minutes. Okay, 15 minutes. The wish list, 15 minutes, 30. I can change that, I guess. I'm going to change that to 20 minutes also. And submit that. The subscribe to 30 minutes. Donate button. Edit that to make that 20 minutes. I can make that every 30 minutes. And what about this? What about the Patreon page? Change that to every 30 minutes. That's like really short. Yeah. So just changing the settings a little bit. Make Nightbot a little bit less aggressive. 15 minutes while gaming. I could change that to about 20 minutes. I don't think anyone really gives a damn about while gaming anyway. Bobo the Clowns page, I'm going to disable that. Because that's kind of, somebody said that it was kind of more of a, was kind of a scam anyway or something. 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. Okay, so that should be closer to right. Okay, so I don't know how long it's going to take for Nightbot to update the posting infos, but I just updated it. I didn't get a chance to get in and say hi, but I messaged her. FC says, good morning to you, Ray. Blazing, T-Rex, Ray. Good morning, FC. Just being to go and say hi. So basically, I changed the time delay intervals in Nightbot. So if you guys would please unblock Nightbot so you can at least be kept posted on the changes to update and take effect. Because if you want to make donations and you block Nightbot, you wouldn't know about the donations page. Or if you want to know about the Patreons page, I said Nightbot to be a little bit less annoying. Panel and say hi, but I can't drop a StreamYard link. I don't use StreamYard. So how can I drop a StreamYard link if I don't use StreamYard? We use Discord to the reason we use Discord is because it's also where you can get onto our page to look at updates and information that's new products and our news articles that have been missed. Well, either way, if anybody really seriously wanted to use StreamYard, the StreamYard does exist on a Mac. It's a website program. But it turns out that in some cases it's easier to use Discord instead of StreamYard to do conversations. We were using Google Hangouts. Too many people's information was unintentionally getting outed out when I'd be jumping between different windows. And so it was decided to go with the Discord and not show the actual faces on Discord. Because that way everybody could be part of Discord. And also, if somebody showed something really rude on Discord, you wouldn't see it because I don't show their faces or their information. Well, I'm using OBS for my normal streams, which Streamlabs is based upon. StreamYards, I've only tried it a few times and it worked okay. But the problem with some of these apps is that they also have a notorious habit of adding a lot of extra layers of complexity to something that should be fairly simple. Yeah, well, blondes are fun. kind of want to go back to being a blonde again. That's the reason why I'm hoping that Senator Wyden's $200 increase in Social Security is going to go through. But I've heard that they've gone on holiday and that they're not going to be back until after Thanksgiving. So I don't know how in the hell that's going to happen. Did Donald Trump win by a landslide? Like the phone call said last night. I checked the latest news articles this morning. It doesn't say that. It said that, well, he is going to force a recount in 2 Wisconsin counties. The real plan is eventually to take it up to the Wisconsin Supreme Court and force the issue in the court in a law case. Wisconsin is a big deal to Trump, as is Pennsylvania and Georgia. Now, Georgia, it seems to really have gone more for Biden, but unfortunately enough, if what the caller said last night is true, and if they did run the ballots on the Democratic level through twice or 4 times, my question is how can you do that? Doesn't each of those ballots have some kind of a serial number or a sequence number to know if it's been run through multiple times so that the tabulation equipment would know and catch that and prevent multiple copies or counts being added up because the serial numbers would be different? So I mean, if the stimulus check's going to come through, are they going to? I don't know that either, right? But if they do, Wyden does successfully manage to pass the $200 bonus increase in Social Security. I don't know if it's going to be for the year or it's going to be the new baseline. That would be nice, because that would mean that I can get my hair redone when the salon is open, go back to blonde, and be done with it. Because I do miss the blonde hair in the morning, even though it makes my hair a little more delicate and more likely to snap. I have to admit, I miss being a blonde. So I do kind of want to go back to that. And as I'm getting salt and cinnamon hair anyway, it would make sense to go blonde because my hair is already turning gray. So I want to. I don't even know if my salon is still open. FC. First of all, they're gonna have to use the coat. Oops, my hair to get rid of the dye. Oops is a product that actually removes hair dye. In most cases, or as my salon told me, this is a couple of years ago, they said that remember, I haven't been to the salon since November of last year. My hair grows on the average of about 1 inch a month. So you would say, well, in that case, your hair should be all the way down to your nipples, and it just about is. I have to be. I mean, I don't know if I don't know how well it's going to be to get all this brown out of my hair. So we'll have to see what happens with that. And it's going to cost me, because the initial removal of the dye, it's going to cost me probably more than $60 for the month. It's going to probably cost me about $120 for the first time. And then they're going to then have to re-bleach the regrowth, which is probably about the first 3-4 inches here. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of work. Yeah, I haven't gone to the hair salon in over a year. And then when Patty did it at home, she took too damn long, and all my hair broke. And then I ended up basically losing all my hair snapped because it was over processed, because she didn't time it right. When you bleach hair, it's time sensitive, and so yeah, I gotta get it back to normal. Now some say, well, you should buy a box kit and do it yourself. That's how I got into this mess in the first place. I only did my hair once to go brown. I didn't even do it a second time or retouch it. And the reason I didn't is because my reason is that now my hair is growing out. You can't even tell where the box kit color ends and my real hair begins, because it's almost perfectly lines and blends in. Okay. By the way, my elf ears I ordered are going to be here around early December from Ukraine. So I mentioned it yesterday. Anyway, just to say, I'm looking forward to seeing those ears. But Michelle, if you go back to blonde and want to do it at home, yeah. If you want to send me the stripper, I'm going to need it anyway. I know because the color I used was Color Silk. If the brand of coloring matters, it was Color Silk. So I have to strip all the Color Silk dye out, and then I gotta figure out how to get. I'm gonna get to the salon. I see now. The thing is, my rent is still $900 a month, because when you add in the phone bill, the rent's $800, the phone bill's $100, and from March until October, my rent was $900, and the phone bill for my home phone was $0. So right now, I calculate the budget, and it looks like I got about $164 for the month. So you subtract $60 for the hair, and that means I get $104 for the month. Sure, I've lived on less. I've lived on more. But with all the uncertainties of what's going on right now, nobody knows what the long term is going to be like. Let me just pull up the budget sheet real quick. I don't need to show you the screen, but if you really want to see it, guys, we did talk about the budget sheet once before. Just pull up the budget sheet here. BC budget. BC. Send that to Les. All right. I'll put it on the screen anyway so you guys can see this. I'm not proud. I'm not. It's not like embarrassing to me to show my budget. Really, it's not. I just in fact, compared to some people, I'll be honest, I've been doing pretty well. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. Hey, slick. Okay. That's fine. I don't need to do anything else. That's perfect. So here we go. All right. So this is my budget. And I got the phone bill down a bit because I got rid of the voicemail on the home phone. I don't need my voicemail on the home phone. Social Security is $1,316. Utilities is rent is $800. The electric is $69.60. Since I don't have a satellite dish or cable, that's $0. The cell phone is still $80.57. The internet, which is part of my home phone and not a separate bill, is combined with the home phone, which became out to be $69.38 because I had a credit left over. Well, about $30. Okay. So those are total essential utilities that must be paid of total $1,019.55. Okay, those are not optional. Money to save, put in my savings account automatically. I put $20 each month in my savings. Okay. So now we would throw the hair care in there, but I will do that afterwards. You can see the math. Medical insurance is $42.80. I have not seen any letter of saying it's going to be less or more. I've heard it might be more, so just stick with $42.80 for the Medicare Part D right now. Okay. Google Pay is $10.62. PayPal credit is $0 because I haven't been using PayPal credit. These are all placeholders from original debt collectors that were paid off. I never erased them. So PayPal credit is $0. PayPal seller's fee is $0. Care credit is $0. Portfolio recovery is $0. Columbia House DVD is $0. Capital One I still do have and still pay $60 a month. The Dress Barn is $0. The Fashion Bug is $0. The JCPenney's is $0. The First Premier is $0. The student loans is $0. The IOUs is $0. Total liability cost is $113.42. Total monthly expenses is $1,152.97. Money left over is $163.03. Now subtract 60 from there is $103.03. If I wanted to make this a regular thing. Now, if they did increase the payments to $200, making $1,516 for me, it would give me an additional $363.03 a month available after all the bills are paid, which is fantastic. Oh, let's just see something here real quick here. Let me go into BC for a second. Okay, they say it's going to be about 1.3%. So I think 1,316 times, where's the star? This, that's the hash. 1.013 takes us up to $1,333. Remember, they don't include the cents. And then since it's less than 50 cents, it's going to round down. So you're going to be getting possibly $1,333 in January. Not exactly what I call a rock and roll fortune here. But on the other hand, it's probably better than nothing. But is it going to be enough to get my hair done? I can't say. So I really was hoping that they were going to get the. They keep saying they want to do stimulus, and they kept saying all these promises, and then they kept basically giving everybody excuses. Nancy Pelosi, for example, should have passed the stimulus check and actually gotten it done with Mitch McConnell around August, September. And they didn't. Yeah, but the problem is Rachel, is I have very fine hair. And with my legal blindness, my hair is very hard for me to see that where to put the brush strokes. And there's likely that I'm going to end up breaking the hair. And then we're going to end up with a whole bunch of broken pieces laying on the floor in the bathroom. That's how my hair broke the first time when Patty went a little bit too gung-ho and over bleached and didn't watch the clock. Don't worry about it. So if anybody, that's okay. That's okay. So this year is going to be a really for all for everybody, not just me. It's going to be a really sucky situation with Thanksgiving, Christmas, Yule, and New Year's. As people are not going to be likely to be flying home to see the relatives to the homes for the holidays. This year is going to be more like the most busy way of visiting relatives is going to be using Zoom or Google Hangouts, because of the fact is that no one is going to physically be wanting to travel. Even if you could guarantee you could get a spot on an airline, people are not going to be flying. As states and cities saying that you are going to have to wear masks in your own home, and are telling you that by law you will be limited to no more than 10 people in your home for Thanksgiving. I don't even see how that's going to work. Yeah. This whole 2020 sucked anyway. Yeah, well, I hope so too. But I have to be honest, I don't know if it's 2021 is going to be all that much different, because now you got a Democrat in the White House officially, and I got a feeling he's going to do everything he can to screw everybody up every way possible. You know how Democrats are. Tax and spend, gonna tax and gonna spend. Yeah, that's what they do. And the problem is that once they tax, well, then they're gonna go tax and I move, tax and I move, tax and I move away from you. Yeah. They're going to go, I'm going to go to other countries. I'm going to go to China. I'm going to go to India. I'm going to go to Pakistan. I'm not going to stay in the United States and pay a tax rate of 70%. Because that's what Biden wants to do. It's like, what? Oh, I mean, it's scary. I am. I'm trying to. I don't have a gun, so I don't have to hide them. I don't have a sword either, so I don't have to hide my sword because I don't have a sword yet. Um, um, some of us wish we had the ability. I don't know. I don't know much about Pakistan, except, of course, is that the majority of the faith system is Muslim. I don't know how they would feel about a Roman Catholic Christo pagan. They may not particularly like a Roman Catholic Christo pagan. So besides, I don't know Pakistani. But when I obviously the well-to-do can afford to buy those language training courses and learn foreign languages, and I probably would go ahead and do it. You can bet that Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk's and Zuckerberg's of the world are going to be willing to hop over to the next plane to another country or take a transatlantic voyage in a steamship like the Queen Elizabeth too. But I don't think most people are going to do that. So anyway, as far as me, and I need a holiday, honestly. But going out there in the community right now is a suicide mission. No one is going to be traveling to anywhere thanks to COVID-19. No one's going to go anywhere. It's a suicide mission. Well, I'd rather have a sword anyway, so if it's going to be a weapon, because guns are noisy and they're easy to get stolen, and they use consumables like you mentioned about shells, and a sword doesn't need shells. Of course, you do got to keep it oiled and sharp, but at least you can always get a whetstone. Whetstones are not regulated, so my nephew is from Serbia. I'm thinking about moving family back there. I don't know anybody in Eastern Europe. As far as I don't even know if I'd be able to get a sponsorship. Although, isn't Serbia one of the countries that's offering a promotion for people to move back there? Italy was. Some of the small villages in Italy are offering promotions for you to set up a home in the mountainous regions of Italy. Yeah. It's hard to keep your sword in your belt line for easy. The scabbard's not a problem. Have it on your hip. Some people put the sword on their back. Only thing is, the back scabbard is a problem for some people because the way it has to swing it in. But one guy designed a scabbard for those who want to wear it across their back that allows easy entry and exit. We're talking about a 24-inch one-handed sword, which for coarse quarters, is fine. You don't need a big monster sword. If you look at my wish list, you'll see one sword. That's actually a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Right. I know some people like Ukraine. Like, I watch a few YouTube channels from people from the Ukraine that. Shit, what's the channel? That's the channels on my subscriptions list. Well, anyway, this guy's a major YouTuber in the Ukraine, and he's been going to the Chernobyl area, the protected region of Chernobyl, and checking it out. Right. Like the colored chick in Walking Dead. Well, like I said, swords are good because, like I said, they don't make noise. I mean, not like a gun does anyway. They don't use consumables. You just gotta keep them oiled and sharp, and they're ready to go. Whereas with a gun, you gotta use shells, and that's gonna cost more money. Yeah. Well, cane wouldn't be bad for me anyway. But I still basically would tie up one of my hands anyway, constantly leaning against my cane. I don't want to get one of those canes that's like got the big fat club foot on it. The one with the big 4 toes on it. That's ridiculous. I mean, in one way, it would work for me, but a lot of those canes are, well, pretty broad foot. So you're going to end up basically, how are you going to string that across your back? I mean, say that you have one of those things, it says, I'm disabled, I'm an easy target. That's a problem with having a cane like that. It says like I'm an easy target. Yep. Yeah, well, they're not supposed to be living there, but people are living in the protected region of Chernobyl. The city's got a whole bunch of people living in the protected region of Chernobyl, and actually, they're already running tours there in that protected region of Chernobyl now. So it's just kind of interesting to see that. Okay, just a regular wooden cane. All right. As far as living off grid in Alaska, in a dry cabin, in a dark cabin, would save me a lot of money. The only thing is, a dark cabin means that are we going to keep your cell phone charged? I don't mind a dry cabin idea. No indoor plumbing, that doesn't bother me. But a dark cabin, how are you going to do YouTube videos in a dark cabin? Oh, I don't know. I'm going to put this thermoelectric Peltier junction on top of my kerosene lamp to charge my battery so my cell phone would actually have enough voltage to go ahead and do videos. The only thing to find out that, guess what? There's no cell tower out in Alaska because everything is basically too far apart unless you're maybe Anchorage or Fairbanks. Yeah. Solar panels, maybe, but they have to come down a long time in price, and you still have to deal with the issue. The fact is that, number one, unless if you go, for example, to farther north you go, the more the 6 months rule applies, where 6 months a year will be dark, and then 6 months a year will be 24-hour daylight. Which isn't so bad, is in today's 24-hour daylight, your photovoltaic panels will be constantly charging your batteries. But during the 6 months out of the year, there will be no power to charge your batteries. So, which means you have to double your battery capacity, or you're going to have to run a generator. And if you're charging batteries for the generator, the one question is, where are you going to get the consumable fuel? I watch these guys. I see what they do. It's a lot of work to do, off-grid solar cabin in Alaska. Also, of course, you got to realize that even if you do have a dry cabin, which is fine because you don't have to worry about freezing pipes, you got to deal with the reality of, well, that means you're going to be hooking it up to the outhouse every time, or maybe not every time. You can have a commode pot in the bathroom, but you're still going to have to dump the sucker. So, which is fine, I guess. But the problem is the polar bears. That's the funny thing about the outhouses in northern Alaska is there's actually provisions for the outhouse for 2 people to use it at once, you and a buddy, to protect against the polar bears. That's no joke. The polar bears are mean. And so are the wolves and even the grizzlies. Yeah, I know. But let's put it this way. You go totally off grid in Alaska like I had planned to do, you wouldn't have to worry about paying for monthly expenses other than for a couple gallons of kerosene and being able to get access to logging rights to chop down trees for wood stove. But you have to remember that you're going to have shorter seasons, so you have to constantly make sure to do your growing of your food and stuff within the shorter growing Alaskan seasons, because the food costs to import food from the lower 48 is insane in Alaska. I mean, you think Stop and Shop in Winston's expensive. I mean, a gallon of milk from lower Alaska even is going to cost you close to $6 a gallon. If you want to get anything from like main 48 states, it's going to cost you 3 times what you would pay in the grocery store. For example, if you want to buy a 2-liter of Diet Coke, I saw one price. They were charging as much as, for 2-liter soda now, $10 a bottle. If they're in Barrow. I was like, what? You need diapers for your baby? Get ready to pay $30 for a pack of Pampers. I mean, like, that is nuts. Well, I can see that. Yeah, I understand that. I would do that too, unless I had no choice. But unless you find a log cabin that was abandoned that's in good shape, you're still going to need wood to build that. And then, of course, you're going to probably need a couple of people to help you build that cabin. Down the road from me that has never had electric or a toilet besides his outhouse. Right. Well, that's fine. That's great, because that's going to save him money, because he doesn't have to worry about his plumbing being frozen up in the wintertime. And he doesn't have to worry about his pipes clogging or having Sure, he does occasionally have to dig a new latrine every so often, every year, probably every 2 years, depending on how much he uses it and how big his latrine is. But I don't see a problem with an outhouse. It doesn't bother me. The thought is an outhouse can be an environmentally responsible thing, but his well is has to be at least 100 feet away from his outhouse per code in most states. So more than likely, I don't know how big his lot is, but his well is probably maybe on the other side of his parcel. Right. Right. Well, I can see with the dog, yeah. Um yeah. I see the point with the dog. I get that. And then maybe I might consider getting 122 caliber rifle, but my sword would still be the main weapon. I wouldn't want to totally rely on one weapon type for defense. I would rather have multiple choices for maybe a couple of daggers as well, because for short quarter fighting, because you never know what you're going to be dealing with, you know. Like I said, I mean, I've been thinking about this for a while. But the thing is, when you're legally blind, here's one question. And it's not a minor one, it's a big one. I said they believe in the buddy system. Okay, you don't want to go out there by yourself. If you can't drive your car, how are you going to get things done? If you don't have a way of driving out and you never learned how to drive, even if you wanted to drive illegally, you don't have a car and you don't have you don't know how to drive at all. And I don't know how to drive at all. You're screwed if you're living by yourself out there in the middle of nowhere. So that's where you want to be able to go out there with a trusted friend or companion. And I wouldn't even know who to ask. Shurikens spelling. Behind the old haunted water treatment plant. Okay. Snowmobiles, again, I don't even have a driver's license. I mean, besides, the snowmobile is going to work fine in the wintertime. But what about when it's not winter? Then what are you going to use? You can get a horse, you can get a carriage, true. As long as the state doesn't bitch and tell me I need to get a driver's license for horse and carriage. Of course, just like they do in the Amish buggies, they're going to require you to have turn signals, so that's expected. Yeah. But like when I fell on December 6th, one of the questions was if I had fallen out in the middle of this by myself. No, my rotten damn luck, I still would have been in the friggin' snow. So that's what I'm saying is I wonder if it would make any sense to have a buddy or partner to go with me. Because somebody who is willing to accept and embrace that kind of a lifestyle and somebody I could trust, that's going to be key. Because, I mean, look, this country is getting more dangerous to live in the cities than it's worth, for especially the big urban centers. Where I live is kind of suburbs, so it's not really quite so dangerous. But once things get bad enough, they're going to come out to the suburbs and they're going to ruin things here in the suburbs. Right. So you got to be careful about that. You don't want to be out there in the middle, by yourself. Like I said, the buddy system. Somebody you trust, a friend that you could work with together to provide mutual support for each other, but not be stuck in the middle of nowhere. You live in Dakota anyway. You live in North Dakota, as I remember you told me. And so, what do you do during the like when there's no snow on the ground? You guys are in the prairie states. So I guess the question is, if you're in the prairie states, what's the regulations for horses in North Dakota or Montana? I know Montana's in a state, but would it be more economically feasible to get a horse, even if I just get a saddle and ride into town by a horse, or maybe just get a small buggy, and then because it would be cheaper because there would be no insurance, no collision, no taxes. I love the Amish people. Lived among them for a couple of years in Minnesota. They do not all rape members of family. I never thought they did. I don't know I don't know why some people say they do. But each Ord Young has their own policies regarding things like incest and also how they treat their livestock. In Las Vegas, my Mustang is parked in winter snowmobiles I love. Well, just like they said in the movie, Defending Your Life, where Gutenberg said, snowmobiles get hot like a toaster oven, and the noise of the engine will basically make you go deaf and you won't hear anything. You gotta admit that's kind of true. They are loud motors in those things, especially when you're going at high speed. I prefer something that's quiet. Maybe if it was feasible, and I don't think it's feasible at this point, to have an electric snowmobile, something that doesn't make a racket when you're running it. But for me, at least if I had a sleigh or, like I said, even a horse, but I'd have to consider where I could have a horse stable, because I do want to live off grid, and I don't really know if I can do it by myself, because there's so many reasons. Number one, I'm 52 years old. Okay, I don't have this already set up, so everything would have to be done like pretty quickly, and I don't want to be alone in the middle of nowhere for safety reasons alone. If I was to do this, I would rather go it with a friend or family, but I don't know anybody that I personally would trust that well enough to say, have them want to come with me to the North Dakota or to Montana or even to some of the other states, because I think some of them would prefer to be where just like Huckleberry Finn would say, civilized. And if you, I don't particularly blame them for saying that, but at the same time, like, things are so screwed up right now in the cities that you don't want to be in the urban centers. And you certainly don't want to be on the East or West Coast. So what's the best answer? Right. The horse and buggy you want. My friends Bob and buggy ride their horse the bars once in a while. Right. Well, if you can do me a favor, if maybe you can help me on the local level. If you can find me information of where, because I'm willing to consider this though. This is not just a fantasy. If you can help me find a small, maybe abandoned property or cottage that someone would basically be willing to let me move into for free or low cost, where I can have a horse, that would be a good start if I could find out how to contact the person. But I have to be honest, the other thing that we run into is the same thing with any moving. It's expense. I don't know much about the utilities out there because I obviously use the cell phone service. Does T-Mobile have service in whatever town it would be? And I still would like to rather go with a team, like a partner, a friend. I don't really feel I would be ready to live by myself, completely by myself, isolated by myself. As I do enjoy some socialization, I don't think I could handle it like totally out in the middle of sticks with no one to see for miles. I would like to at least have someone to talk to. Yeah. Off grid would be great, but alone anywhere is not mentally healthy. That's why the law tries to break people down by solitary confinement. Right. But even if you're mostly a homebody anyway, I don't like to be totally alone forever. I mean, I do YouTube because first of all, it does give me some socialization, and so like I said, I would rather go this with a friend. At least it would be two people to talk to. Maybe even more than just two people to help, you know, split the moving costs. But I don't know anybody who would want to do it, so makes it hard. Yeah. So that's what I want to say to anybody who's watching this. If you know of anybody that has a inexpensive off-grid dry housing, ideally not so far away from town that you can't get there by horse and carriage, I would be interested because I cannot drive a car. I don't even know how to drive a car, and I don't even have a license to drive a car. So if anybody said get a car, you better make sure you understand I have to learn to drive the damn thing. I have to learn how to shift. I have to learn how to steer. I would have to learn how to run the clutch, to brake if it's a manual transmission. I don't know how to do any of that. I've always had better luck with horses and animal husbandry than any kind of motorized field contraption. Um, my T-Mobile nearest office is in Billings, Montana, or 8 hours in Rapid City, South Dakota, or Fargo, Minnesota. I'm screwed when phone. Yeah, at least it's T-Mobile though. How many bars do you get? Are you using LTE, or are you still using 3G on it? because T-Mobile is my backup provider here. We still have them running in the background. They're still always running in the background, so they're always there. I run off the Canadian Tower, so I am. Noodles says, "Sorry, Noodles, you're in New Jersey. I don't think New Jersey is where I want to go right now. You can thank Antifa and BLM for that one. I want to go where I'm not likely to end up a casualty for somebody who's some black extremist who's trying to tell me that I have white privilege and I basically am given some special God-given right to do things. Or find my home burned to the ground because somebody doesn't like white people. I also want to be able to go where the taxes are lower and the rents are lower, and that my small Social Security check, which isn't so small compared to some, will actually help me to financially live my life in a way that I can afford. I'm not going to Mexico. I don't like it hot. I like the opposite. I like it cooler. That's why I've been in New England all my life. Besides, I grew up here anyway. I thought about going to Maine, but Maine is Maine is good. New Hampshire's good. It's a lot easier to move to either one than moving to Dakota. However, the one problem with me in Maine is there is no T-Mobile in Maine unless you go to Bangor or Portland. So if you want T-Mobile in Maine, you got to live in either Bangor or Portland, Maine. And so I don't know. But I still really want to go. I don't want to go alone. I really don't want to go by myself. It's a scary thought to actually try to figure out how you're going to pack up a cat in the house and bring it all the way across country. And then how much is that going to cost? I only got about $175 from my check in savings account. How much is that going to cost me? It's going to cost me more than $175. I can assure you. I don't even know what to do in my life right now because I'm really kind of wanting to make some changes. I want to do some new venues, even with the COVID-19 thing. But it's like I don't know how. Once the real estate market crashes, but what I want to do is I need to change. I've said that many times in the past. That's not new. I have no clue. I really am technology retarded. I am the one who didn't want phones. My grandchildren got me a phone for Christmas 5 years ago so they could keep track of my crazy butt. You should build a tree for it. No. No. First of all, I don't even know if I could comfortably climb up into a treehouse at my age. Okay, my knee. I don't think I could handle climbing up a treehouse. I mean, I've seen them build some really nice adult tree houses, but damn, I have to remember I have a knee injury, so would have to be something either maybe just 2 floors, 1 to 2 floors, and maybe a ranch house, and then like I said, a barn for the horse, and like Mary Beth said, Unger said, maybe a small spot also for the motor or snowmobile. So for the waste for the horse, the carriage, and the snowmobile, and of course any kind of gardening implements. And I really would rather do this with a friend and not go alone. I don't even know how I would go about even advertising, looking for a friend to go with me to to North Dakota to build a homestead. Obviously, I don't have very many physical friends I know locally, so I would have to find somebody that I would trust. I was going to do it with one person, but that person turned out to be not so much of a friend in the first place. I think you know the one. And so I basically, after me and her had our blow ups and she took advantage of me, I basically severed connections with her. I don't even talk to her anymore. So are you all right? You don't look well. I'm fine. I'm fine. Trust me. I never look right in the morning. I think because I put a little bit extra foundation on this morning because my skin was a little red because my niacin. I don't even know who Anderson Henderson is. I don't want to be where I'm living under somebody else's thumb. I would rather be a partnership where it's a shared property between two people with both names on the deed. So that way, if one moves out, the other one is not forced to end up on the street or in the woods. Little tree forts and build a fort for a couple of the grandkids last Christmas. I can fit in it at 5'4", but I've always been tiny, still in kids size 14 through 16 and at 61. Well, you're only about 9 years older than me. 8 years in February. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we should talk. I don't know. It's up to you. I mean, like I said, if you know anybody out there in that area of the country that would like to work with me, for that purpose to eventually get out of this rotten state of Connecticut, and help me to establish a new future. Because I mean, I'm still got quite a few years on me. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't drug, I don't drink. So I would be good. She just didn't take time to style because we're more important to her, so she just jumped in online. Yes. Noodle said I'm 6'3" and very muscular, so I wouldn't fit in a tree fort. I live in a mansion for this reason. I think a ranch house would be fine with me. I don't need a mansion. It's just me and a cat. But I definitely would want to have a stable in the back for a horse and a carriage so I can get to town and do chores. I have to be able to do that. Because if I had a carriage, I could have been going out and doing things, instead of sitting around going, well, what do I do? Well, I'm going to call. Wait, I don't know anybody. Gee, I'm kind of stuck. Who am I going to call? Oh, I don't know. I'll just go to Cumberland Farms. I'll go get another goddamn frozen pizza. I'm so sick of frozen pizza. I'm really. And then COVID-19 screwed up everything anyway. And so a lot of people are like, not restaurants are closed anyway, but that's because of COVID. But even during a normal circumstance, I'm always depending on other people to take me places. And I really would rather be able to do things on my own when I can. Again, I don't know who that person is. Okay. That's, as I said, one of the things is I would rather do it with a person that I know and feel comfortable with. A friend, that maybe, even if it's somebody I know from the soup kitchen that I met and trust. Sorry, homeless Mike isn't really a good choice because of one reason. He does not have I don't know. He doesn't have what it's going to take to live out in the middle of the sticks. He doesn't have a driver's license. He's too wrapped up in his cell phone and his music. And I don't see it working with him. Okay. Ed's too old. Ed is living in Florida and he's too old to do it. He doesn't like the winter anyway. So I wouldn't work with Ed because Ed's too old and it's too cold. I grew up in a mansion in Lake Geneva in Wisconsin. My bestie's dad made twin bikes. The other neighbor was an old man, Wrigley, the maid come. So, yep, we're all good no matter where we are. Moving with me, you should stay away from people who hang out at soup kitchens. So what? They probably say the same thing about me too. Michelle's a ne'er-do-well. She's never going to be anything because she can't even seem to find too many social people because she's mostly a homebody. Yeah, that's the way that a lot of people think. But you know what? Here's the thing. I mean, it's getting dicey out there. And with Biden supposedly having the nomination, there is no way in the hell I want to stay in a state that is going to seriously allow more illegals to come in here, and they will. Connecticut already is doing it. Connecticut is a sanctuary state. You think it's going to be any better with President Biden? I mean, Connecticut really was pro-Obama. I mean, oh my God, it was like ridiculous. So I would really rather be where I can be more flexible with my choices instead of being regulated to an inch of my life. Now the latest bullshit story here is they want to tell you that they want to mandate that you must wear a mask at home when sitting on your couch, for Christ's sakes. What gives you the right to tell me what I have to do in my home? I don't understand this. It's like they want to try to tell us in some states they're saying you're gonna have to wear a mask even at home. What? That doesn't make any sense. What are you gonna do? Have the fire marshal walk in every few hours to see if I'm wearing a damn mask? And then they try to tell you can only have about 10 people in your home for Thanksgiving? If you happen to have a bigger family? Screw that! What are you gonna do? Send the fire marshal and say, I'm sorry, there's 11 people here. One of you has to go. I collect antiques, so that's 60 I'm about the newest thing in the house. Yeah. Well, either way, I don't know. It's a project I've been wanting to work on for a while. So if anybody, Mary Beth, if you could help me, and this involves good old fashioned scissors and tape, or if you want to send me something, if you want to send me a listing of people or contact people that have a cabin or cottage that's off grid with access to a barn, so that I can actually set up a place to get a horse and a carriage and be able to contact them in your area, that would be fine. And I'll even give you my mailing address. It's not that hard. My mailing address used to be public information. It still is somewhere. So if anybody wants to contact me right now, the easiest way is just to send it to me by email, because that way. So just contact me at that information. My youngest is 6'3" since 7th grade. I've had to stand in a chair to look him in the eye and scold him for trouble. I've got your address. I can do that. Thanks. Because, I really would like to actually find a lead to where we could do some of this. I don't know how well it's going to go. I don't know if it's going to actually materialize to anything. But on the other hand, it'll give me something a bit, different to do. Yes, okay. But all right, guys, I gotta call Rachel. What time did she say to call? About 3:00? Yeah, it's in like 3:30. Because her daughter's like, yeah, I could try calling Rachel. I thought she wanted me to call her between 11 and 12. And then she said call on her cell. So I gotta call her on the cell phone. Because her hang-us is set to silencio, so she didn't even know. Last time I called her yesterday on the cell phone to Hangouts. And because, like I said, everybody says to me, you're a smart person, you could do something better than living like this. This is just not feasible anymore for you. And I have to agree. This is the whole situation with living in a city that's has regulations that tell me, what I can't. Well, I have no room for a carriage anyway. But even if I did, stables cost a lot of money up here. Yeah. Well, guys, I'm going to get ready to wrap it up for now. Just to let you know that we will be having our 7 o'clock show tonight at 7 p.m. I'm going to try to get some World of Warcraft in. I don't know yet. Some days I feel like playing it, some days I don't. Call me. No, I'm not going to New Jersey. Okay, that's not happening. I'm not going to New Jersey. I'd rather go to Maine. If I had to go anywhere even close to New England, I would go to Maine or New Hampshire. But I sure the hell ain't going to no New Jersey. All right, guys. Everybody, for now, I'm going to let you go. I'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock. Please do not forget to share the videos with people. Like, if you haven't already done so, put a like in and like jar. It's free. It doesn't cost nothing. And also if you did block Nightbot, please unblock Nightbot, because Nightbot is the one that's letting you know how to get in contact with my different ways, such as my Discord page. So that makes it easier for you to be able to join us on Discord, is where we post links to news articles and things, since we do not have a community tab yet. We are quite a ways away from getting a community tab. Also, be aware that YouTube has been up to their old shenanigans. I'm just going to tell you what George Spraff have said, that now they're running ads even for channels that don't even have a monetization. So if you are, even if you have less than 1,000 subs, so if you see ads running on this channel, please know I don't have monetization yet. And it's because YouTube is kind of just getting crazy for money. It's getting cuckoo for dollars, and it's trying to find ways to screw everybody in the process. But that's something you may see here. Just be aware of that. Also, we'll be playing World of Warcraft possibly today, this afternoon. I don't know yet. I don't always feel motivated. Some days I do, some days I don't. All right. So for now, stay out of trouble. Be safe. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody.